So if oh wait, give me a second. I didn't want to get anything on my shirt, so anyway, I had an appointment today. Blood draw. Didn't really cover that it was supposed to take an hour, because also assessment. So I guess some of the stuff from today works out, except I was still out that long anyway. So my ride got here an hour before they were probably supposed to. At least half an hour before, like, they would have needed to. Then I had to stand outside for half an hour because the office wasn't even open. And then I had to sit there for about 45 minutes before, no, sorry, 45 minutes after my appointment time. So this doesn't even cover the time before the appointment time. So I was literally sitting in that office probably close to 2 hours by the time this is all done. So I get in there, I get the blood draw. She's like shocked at my weight. She's shocked at what I eat. Like the moment that it hits her, she is like, "Wow, you just had a yogurt this morning?" Like, what sort of reaction? Like, and then she's shocked, I guess, because she has to eat more often. Like, I don't really get hungry. And today's actually one of those days that I do, so, like, shit show for me, right? But I really wasn't hungry because I still don't get as hungry as often as other people do. So, like, I ate at like 5:30 this morning, and then I got home about 10:10, and I was like, once I get started today, I'm not going to remember to eat lunch. So I should probably just heat up some leftover spaghetti and, eat lunch now. Normally I wait until closer to a more traditional time to eat, like 12. But then I'm like, Chris is at school, I'm not going to remember to eat, so better do it now. That's why I took this off. And I'm short enough that literally the skirt still reaches well below my knees. So it actually goes all the way, like, almost touching the ground whenever it's not pulled up. And I can pull it off as basically a dress. I've actually done so around the house. It covers everything. It's not overly flattering, I guess. Well, Jean thinks it is. But, I don't know. Wouldn't really wear it somewhere, like going somewhere, but all the necessary parts are covered. And then some. So, it's actually long enough to be a dress on me, so, Anyway, because I came so early, it was like right after I put Munchkin on the bus. So I didn't even have time to come inside and get ready. I basically had to come inside, get my stuff together, and then next thing I knew they were here. Like, there was no take my hair out, so this is literally just a throwover from my hair being braided before going to sleep. So, my bangs are everywhere, and yeah, I did brush my bangs. I tried to make it neat in the time that I had. So anyway, after the call was, I guess, put in for me to have a ride back, I had to wait another 45 minutes before someone even got it. And then I waited after that, and it was like another 20 minutes, and I was just kind of, no, it was like 10, 15 maybe? I don't think it was a whole 20. She was pretty good about getting there. It was just kind of, maybe closer to 15, but still closer to 10 from that. So it's still like, it wasn't that bad once it was out, but in total I was there way longer than I ever wanted to be in my life. And I spent like 10 minutes in the back with somebody, and all this just for that 10 minutes. And then I still had to reschedule because there was a communication problem, and she wasn't notified that I was there when it was actually my appointment time, so still have to do the assessment stuff. You know, the yearly paperwork for the medical stuff, documents, and because the clinics keep track of that. And, you know, it's just a series of questions. It's not like it's a checkup or anything. They just ask you stuff. But the blood draws and stuff, that's part of that. So we got that part done. But yeah, there's actually a point whenever I said, you know, you're flattering me, but just put it up to the 300. I guess a lot of times I don't understand why, well, I've not understood why people say that I don't look like I'm 300 pounds. And then I see this lady who, like, actually eats that much, gets zero exercise, and is 300 pounds. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's what you mean. Literally, some days you'll see, like, I have a double chin, and some days you won't. This is because the amount of inflammation and swelling I deal with. That's not fat. That's not fat. I'm not actually doing anything to lessen that right now. There are days whenever I get incredibly self-conscious about it. And those are days whenever it's happening, of course, so I'll, like, film in a different position. Sometimes that's not why, though. It's just because it's comfortable for my back. It hasn't really been as comfortable while recovering with my hip, because laying on my stomach actually, like, puts a different kind of pressure on it. And it actually hurts, so I'm waiting for it to heal before I can go back to laying on my stomach, which is actually my favorite way to lay. So, I have to, like, put pillows here and there, you know, because my boobs are huge. But, yeah. We've got jokes about that. So, anyway, today has just been a day. See, I can pull my head back. This is as far as it goes. Today is not a day whenever I'm dealing with an insane amount of swelling right here, but I've got enough of it on my hip that I think, yeah, I need to take some ibuprofen. Otherwise, that shit's gonna push my joint out of socket again. And I've actually had that happen a lot. But while it's recovering from the kind of injury from exactly that, but more violent of a exit and re-entry, I think I'm gonna go with ibuprofen, because I really don't want this to be pushed out again right now, or at all. But really right now would just be worse, especially if it, like, re-injures it. You're more prone to that whenever you're going through this. So, yeah. Also, my hair is insane and just needs to stop. I basically doused that end in leave-in conditioner last night. Because despite my efforts, it just was not handling the humidity well. And had just become frizzy and dry. I don't know why humidity does that to my hair. But it just makes it frizzy and dry, and I have curls and directions and stuff, and I can try and flatten it. And sometimes I succeed to a degree, like I did with my bangs hair. And then I can kind of like put it back in line, but as you can see, this is creeping back up. Or maybe you can't. But I know it's creepy. And I know that if I go and look at it after a while, it's going to be creeped further. The humidity is starting to go away, so it's like kind of dissipating a little bit. So it's not as bad. But if I take this out, I'm going to have Hermione hair. And by that I mean, up here it doesn't poof, but down here it just goes yes, I have Hermione hair. Actually, I'm going to take this out. Ow! That pulled. So, my hair has reached a length that if I don't put it back, like, last night I contemplated not putting it back, but it's still not behaving because humidity means that the moment I stop brushing it, or just move to another spot, it's getting tangled already. Because naturally, that's what happens. You know, whatever, it curls. And it's all over the place. So the only thing I can do is try to control those curls. This is the sort of thing that is why my mom got a perm. Because at least her hair was consistent after she had a perm. Pause. Unpause. It is awesome. I have enough leave-in conditioner in my hair that it didn't poof. I actually have a picture of this, by the way. Because I'm weird. And if it's that bad, I'm just going to take it. Condition. See this? This is my hair tamed. This is tamed. Still doesn't want to do precisely what I wanted to do. Oh, look! Over here, I've got the breakages from the Hashimoto's. Just imagine some professional getting hold of my hair. They'd probably just fuck it up. It's happened before. So the other day, I actually got caught, like, looking at YouTube. It was like, it was almost time for Munchkin to get home. And, you know, I was kind of like, well, I'm done with this, and this. I don't have time to start something. And then I was like, oh, I should just do this. Then I ran into this thing. What is this thing about the perfect style? Honestly, I thought her outfit looked hideous. Why would you wear this green striped monstrosity? You're perfectly fine with your bat sleeves. I don't know why you call it bat or vampire style or whatever. I like my earth tones and my black clothes and my purples, and I don't really give two shits what the ideal is. But then she got me thinking, like, do I have a round face? Am I an oval? Or am I heart-shaped? I don't know. I really don't know. And also, why are all of these hairstyles meant to make face look more like an oval shape? That seems mean. And kind of a shit show. Like, why do you encourage people to be unhappy with themselves and have to conform to a single standard of what a small group of people thinks is pretty? Some people actually idealize a heart-shaped face. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying that, like, I've read enough books to know, and I have seen this described in vivid detail as if it was the most beautiful thing in the world. So a heart-shaped face can actually be idealized and has been. I'm not sure my face should be idealized, but I mean, come on. So, yeah. Oh, I almost got mistaken for somebody who worked there. I used to getting there before it's open. It's kind of weird. Like, there was an actual conversation. I was like, oh, wait, it's not open. And the lady turned around and she actually thought that I worked there. Like, wow. No makeup, no nothing. Apparently, I look professional enough to work here. And I didn't even put a lot of effort into getting dressed this year. Like, literally, I got dressed with the intention of changing after Munchkin went to school. Yeah. So I'm wearing a brown shirt and my black skirt with the purple dotted roses. Like, they're made out of little purple dots, basically. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not wearing any jewelry. My hair is literally the way that I woke up. Apparently that's professional enough. Can't say I'm wholly surprised. I mean, there were a couple people that walked in and I was like, okay. As long as they're doing the job, I don't really care, but still, like, at least try. Not that I'm one to talk. I don't wear makeup and I don't wear bras. I've actually found it to be healthier for me not to wear bras. Turns out, I don't have as many back problems. The spasms actually aren't as bad in my spine. Whenever, my boobs aren't being pulled out in front of me like this. I have big, big boobs. But I can actually pull them off as if they aren't quite that big. If I'm not wearing a bra. So, if you see a picture of me in a bra, a lot of people will go, oh, I see why you're with her. Like, what? What? Seriously? Somebody's actually said that to Jade before. Like, it's the boobs, isn't it? No, it's not. In fact, relationships that are based on that sort of thing don't even last anyway. So anyway, yeah, I am 5'0" and 300 pounds. I have thunder thighs and love handles and a big pouch on my front. Okay. So, I get it. But apparently I don't look 300 pounds. That would be because I'm also very active. Last time they tested me for muscle versus fat, it wasn't great. But, also, you need a lot more fat than you do muscle. So I still have, I guess, more than that lady who kind of looked like her face was merging with her body. I've done a bad thing just by saying that. But yeah. Yeah. So some days, it's better than others as far as the swelling goes. Sometimes the swelling is it just goes to a different place. Like right now, a lot of times whenever this swells up, it means that my thyroid is all swelled up. So my thyroid isn't all as swollen right now. So my face is almost normal. But that changes It does. It changes. So it fluctuates a lot. It's what happens whenever you have Hashimoto's. And I really wish that someone had, realized that before they actually did. So, yeah. But I actually fluctuate in weight in a single day. Anywhere between 10 pounds and 40. It's usually somewhere closer to like 20 or 30. I'd say 25 is about average. But the extremes are like 10 pounds or 40. I've actually had that happen. Where between the beginning of the day and the end of the day, I had varied 40 pounds. And I'd barely even eaten anything. Like, it's insane. And I'm also pretty active. So I'm also the only fat person in my family who is not a diabetic, not pre-diabetic. And I'm not borderline either. So, growing up, I was borderline because I was on medications that made me gain insane amounts of weight. But I'm not. So, it's been years, and there have been multiple times that they've tested me because I'm fat, and, they feel the need to constantly remind me of this and test me for diabetes every single time. So, I've been reminded of this a lot, I get it. I'm fat. And I have I have a pretty heavy family history of it. But like, they'll even test me before they even know that. So it's like, don't test me because I'm fat. Test me because I have a family history. Like, I'm the only overweight person in my family who is not a diabetic. Except for, like, I think a cousin. And it's because he's not that overweight. Like, he's just a little overweight. Not a lot. And, like, I think he exercised and got it down and joined the military. So, like, in my case, it doesn't matter. I'm actually very active. I get about twice the recommended amount of exercise. And I eat a lot of vegetables, despite the fact that I don't really digest them very well. I really don't. And there are some measures that I do need to take to help myself with that. And then there are days like today where I started the day off with a yogurt. Normally I started off with a homemade biscuit, and because all my biscuits are homemade now. So, a homemade biscuit and a sausage patty. And this morning I did this with a yogurt. And it was, I didn't feel so great afterwards. If I don't, like, eat certain things before I eat certain other things, sometimes that happens. But the yogurt thing has more to do with the fact that I am lactose intolerant and don't have the greatest immune system. So, I've never had yogurt really agree with me very much. But it was just a yogurt cup, so it wouldn't be too much. But it would be wise for me to, like, eat a couple crackers or something before I eat that, just to get my stomach going. And then that in of itself would not push me over the edge, because I've worked on my lactose intolerance. Because you have to understand, it is not the same as a milk allergy. It is an intolerance. And you can actually build a tolerance to it, to an extent. Like, I will never be able to drink whole milk without, like, yeah, we're not going into that. So, but I can sometimes have skim milk. And I can cook with whole milk. Because this actually helps to, like, get rid of some of the lactose. And lactose is the sugars in milk. It's not like pouring sugar in milk. It's the natural sugars in milk. I literally cannot have this. Because my body cannot process it. And it turns out that that's, like, actually pretty common. So I'm intolerant to the natural sugars in milk, in cow's milk. And I'm straight up allergic to breast milk. Even my own. Oh, this was not fun to discover. I can tell you that. This is not fun to discover. I was allergic as a baby to my mom's. I could not have human milk. Apparently, I cannot have it without breaking out in my own body either. So that was an adventure. That was a shitty adventure, is what it was. Like, yeah, because while I was pregnant, I had to like be really careful. I couldn't have a lot of. I had to limit the Benadryl as much as possible, and it was like the only thing that I could have. And then I was breastfeeding because as much as I could, and my body was like fighting me on this because this is something that wasn't good for me. But I was like, well, regardless of the nutrients, the antibodies are what is most important about the breast milk. Beyond the fact that it is nutritious, they can duplicate that. They cannot duplicate the antibodies. They have yet to find a way to do this, and babies who breastfeed, the longer that they breastfeed, the better of an immune system that they're going to have. And having a kind of shitty immune system, I didn't want my kids to have shit for immune systems. And my oldest actually had a very good immune system, and my youngest did not. So I did notice that, like, you know, it could have been worse. Because I had a very similar situation whenever I was born. I wasn't very big. Well, no, he was a lot taller than I was, but I was born short. No, but, I wasn't born that tall. Anyway, I was a very small baby. And, you know, yeah. The baby clothes were too small for me. I was almost the size of a... I was pretty small for a full-term baby. And I was 4 weeks early. Not technically premature. But 4 weeks early is still a little early. You do have like something. It is still better to remain in there for that extra 4 weeks. And I already knew that like this would have his immune system not be as good as his brother's. So for me, it was a big deal. So I wanted to make sure that he got as much as possible. And there was some improvement from that. But he will always get sick more easily than his brother. It's just kind of the thing. And I just didn't want that for him, so I worked very hard to be able to give both of my kids breast milk. Because as much as people sit there and they'll argue about, they'll argue about everything about it. Except nobody wants to talk about the antibodies. Because those are actually what's really super important about it. Because they help improve an infant's immune system. Because everything that you've ever had, every antibody that you have, now I've got to worry because I have antibodies against things that I shouldn't. And it's not like we knew that then either. Well, shit. Anyway, you have a cold, you have the flu, you have chicken pox and all this. I mean, it's not like it stops them from getting chicken pox, so maybe it won't mean that they'll eventually have some thing where their immune system doesn't know friend from foe. But it does help, like, strengthen them against, run-of-the-mill sickness. And I feel like this is important. Like, just have them have an immune system that's a little stronger. And that was something, that I went through with that. And now I have to think about the thing that I didn't think about then. And that I didn't even think about after I found out. What if, like... I mean, but those antibodies aren't transferable, right? I'm gonna worry about it until I research it. So anyway... Yeah. I can't win. I cannot win. So, anyway, I'm gonna tie this back, get it out of the way, and then I'm gonna get some work done. I really only took it out so that I could just be like, yeah, look at this. It's actually kind of tamed. Actually, I also brushed it and tamed it first. But that doesn't mean I want it in my way either. Probably need to trim my bangs soon. So, yeah. Might make some bread or something. God, I wish I had time for a nap, but I really don't. So, that's just life. Just go to bed after everybody else does. Anyway,